Hey, we there? Yeah, we are here. It's me.
Oh, sorry.
You're stuffing your face. Reggie, cool, on camera, stuffing your face. And you know this is not going to go away because we're not editing this out. This is live. So you know there's going to be memes going around of you stuffing your face as we came live.
And he done that on purpose.
I did do it on purpose, actually. I thought the intro was going to be a bit longer before, but I just forgot. Sorry, apologies.
Oh, is that what you're saying, yeah?
Our producers won't be too happy with you.
Well, no, I can see the messages coming through already.
Sorry, apologies. Our producers won't be too happy. No, sorry. Anyway, sorry. I'm just looking at something. Sorry. Anyway, welcome to Set the Trend podcast. The guys are back, not at our usual spot and time. We're kind of juggling, aren't we, at the minute?
Yeah.
We won't say why, but we're juggling. But the specials can appear up at any time, and today is most definitely a special. So, welcome. If you've not tuned into Set the Trend podcast before, Set the Trend podcast is all about documenting what we love to term it. Our love handle for it is the street sounds history. We like to document it. We like to talk about it. We like to champion the people, the sounds, the DJs, the guys, the girls that went before us and contributed such a lot to the whole culture that we now play in, dance in, meet friends in, socializing. That is called the street sounds industry. And my co-host,
yes, sir,
Reggie Eat a Lot, cut checks, Nam and full in belly styles. You get me?
Do you know you're gonna laugh because I actually had some fufu and okra already earlier on, but I just thought I'll get something else in the belly just to keep me going because it's such a good show and because of the type of people we've got on, we've got to keep up with the next gen and the youngest, isn't it? You know.
Okay, so that's why you stuffed your face before you come on, right?
That's the reason why, 100%.
Okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. And Mr. Wicked man, we know some things about you, EastEnder.
There's plenty to know about me that you may not have known. Good evening, gents. Good evening.
Yeah, how are you, EastEnder? Anything to tell us? Any new things happening in your life, or
have you seen Django lately?
Have I seen who?
Have you? I swear he mentioned something about Django, but I don't know who he could be talking to. Who could he be talking to?
I said, have you seen Django Unchained lately?
Oh no, only when I look at you.
That was so. Being a team building as well. We've got the connection.
Oh, so as you see, we love each other, and the banter. You know, we miss each other when we don't see each other long. We really do miss each other. We've got a fun-packed schedule today, and today we're going to talk about a few things. But the thing that we're really here for is to talk about where we say that we're handing over the baton to some people, some big players in the next generation of DJs. And I know you're saying, why are we calling them next generation of DJs? Because they're not really next gen, but they're next generation to us. So we're using that terminology to describe them because they're next generation to us lot. So we're handing over the baton to them. And what we wanted to do, we've been doing Set the Trend podcast for 2 years, or two years plus, I think it is. And we started to document the street sound history that we know and love. And we wanted to highlight the contribution made by some of the sounds that came before us. So you're talking about your Funkadelics, your Cass Manhattans, your Touch of Class, your latest editions, your Rap Attacks, Fresh Beats. I mean, the list goes on.
Mystery. Yeah, the list goes on.
The list goes on. Street Life, Just Good Friends. The list goes on and it's endless. Company and individuals. So we're talking to individuals also who contributed a lot to the business as well. So we talked to Bentley, who was a promoter. We're still looking for. We've got to get hold of Cheddar. So we're going to get hold of Cheddar. There's a lot of interviews to come that we have to do, and that's the issue. We feel that we can't do that And then we're going to pay enough attention to the next generation who we definitely wanted to interview. And I just saw my anyway, I'm going to say that just because no one's seen it yet. But so what we wanted to do, we wanted to hand over the baton. And we're going to do that today because we have 3 hosts in the can that have said yes, and we're going to discuss with them. We're going to introduce them to you guys, and we're going to discuss who the next generation is that we're talking about. So we're going to explain ourselves properly. And these hosts are going to do that for us. And it's ShaSha, it's Milk Tray, and it's Mr. Play. And it's not that I said I wanted them on there yet, but hey, I mean, the producer's doing his own thing. But, hey. Trigger happy. But as you can see, they are there in the background waiting. But we've got a little bit to talk about before we get to them. We've got another 5 minutes before we talk to them. So please welcome on if you're on Facebook and if you're on YouTube. Remember, Set the Trend Podcast on YouTube and Set the Trend Podcast on Facebook. Just put in those handles and we're there. If you're on Facebook, you can share the link for us, please. Thank you very much. Right. So last week we was here for another special where we talked to the icon, that lovely lady that is Shante Moore.
Oh man, what an interview! What an interview, my friend! What an interview! And I have to, I'll say it now. Salute to EastEnder, Mr. Make Them Cry all the time. You know, I got to big you up, EastEnder. You know what I mean?
No, it was a well-rounded interview. Our first artist special interview. From the back of that, the people, the followers were saying very good things. They loved the interview. And I actually tuned in to her, you know, she does that Saturday 3 p.m. thing.
Yeah.
That she does. And I think that's like in my diary now.
It's really good, isn't it?
Oh, most definitely.
Shante Moore loves Taking Over. I want to thank you, which is an iconic 2-step tune for our street culture. She stayed with us for about an hour and a half. I don't know how long that it was. The interview only meant to be for about half hour or something like that. And
yeah,
I don't know.
She enjoyed staying there. Yeah, it was supposed to be about half an hour or so, and we forgive her for the time in, but it worked out pretty good. And obviously, I'm not sweating as much this week, and I'm here.
And we also talked to one of our favorite producers. The gentleman's name was EastEnder.
Simon Law.
Simon Law, who was a big backbone behind creating some of those iconic music sounds from Soul to Soul back in the days. So
indeed.
And that's the first time that I've met him. And really, I didn't know much about him, but we've invited him back on to Set the Trend podcast because obviously those sounds also were big back in the day, and we used to play them back in the day, and we want to know more about that. And Soul to Soul is one of the original. We would loosely talk, well, not even loosely. They're about 80% there as a rare groove, one of the rare groove sounds like back in the day when they used to start out playing back. And they used to play a lot of the funky stuff, but they. What the African Barbata Centre, wasn't it?
African Centre. And I can tell you that I once got to DJ with Soul to Soul. I had the opportunity. It was the days when we used to have a raised platform for the sound system. Mm-hmm. So I had to tip out my records and actually turn over. The days when you used to carry your records in a milk crate. So I had to tip out my records, flip over the crate, step on the crate just as I can reach the turntables. And it was a great experience. And I'm sure H and Jazzy don't remember it. But
was that at the African Centre as well? Or was that somewhere else?
Yeah, it was at African Centre.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. So
he's very young then. As you know, I started very young.
Well, you still look young, Rich.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, so that'd be very, very interesting to talk about him. He was one of the producers behind a lot of those Keep On Moving, Back to Life,
Missing You.
Yeah. Fair play.
And sometimes you just don't know. And this is what Set the Trend podcast is all about, shining the light sometimes on people who have contributed a lot to our culture that don't necessarily have their name up in lights, as so to speak, but we think they should. So we're giving them a platform to do that so we can document that. And we also released another podcast this week. Last week we released Viber GQ. So he was there talking about Casual Affair and then going into GQ with Paul Cannaville and the lads and what they contributed to the rare groove scene at the time. The weekend we had the DJ roll call release, which for me was, I mean, I am a dancehall DJ, but I'm also a mic man first. So I wanted to be a mic man first, and I wasn't good enough.
With a red lyric book as well.
Yeah,
not one, not two, but
six lyric books.
Six lyrics.
Six lyric books.
Six lyric books. I used to write them. I can't even. Can I find one of them? I know I don't even know where I put them, but I have put them. I have put them away because obviously
just in case, yeah.
No, just to put out that big hit.
Listen, when I go, like the grandkids and the kids have got that, and they can look at my lyrics.
So he was awful. Oh my God!
I noticed you had a culture one, you had a clashing one, and you had different segments of books with different lyrics.
Listen. I don't think they just realized that, like I was meant to be that Stormzy guy. You know what I mean? That Kano. You know what I mean?
That Stormzy. You're looking about that Storm on the hilly fields.
Yeah, that Philip Levi guy and that and Transcend, and it just didn't happen for me. For some reason, I just didn't get through the door. And
so just the vibes, just like bought it on the hill, hilly fields, South East London, where we live. Is that one of the lyrics in it?
I was just about to drum you in, brother.
I don't know.
So let's go back to the podcast and talk about the real lyricists.
So the real lyricist was on, and one of the real lyricists for our scene is Polito Don, and he was 60 just gone. His birthday was a Saturday just gone, so happy birthday, Polito Don.
Happy birthday, yes,
and Polito, if you don't know him, if you haven't heard about him, he's one of the longest running DJs on our circuit. End of, if not the longest. I think he is the longest running DJ on our service, mic man or host, whatever that you would call him. He's been in the business over 35 years. He's 60 this year, and he doesn't look it. To be fair,
no. And in the podcast, I think when you listen to his story and the sounds that he's been chatting the mic for, it's like it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey for him, and a very good one as well. We normally talk about the top 5 MCs, and he's not really in the top 5, but lyricists.
Careful.
Lyricist wise, he's a wizard. He's a wizard.
Yeah, lyricist wise, I don't think nobody. No, I don't think nobody can full up a rhythm like he can. I don't. No, I know there's DJs that can, but he can full up a rhythm. Then you still start the rhythm. He will still full up that one.
What he said in the podcast is that the record always runs out, and he's still chatting his lyrics.
He's a throwback to that old type of DJ, the stereotypical sound MC that used to go on some of the sounds that we grew up with. So we're going back to Sir Coxon, Saxon, Jemmy Magic, Java, Unity, all those Young Lion, all those great dancehall sounds, especially for London that we grew up. He's a throwback to that era, and when you give him a version, he just rides it out. So Polito Don, go and check it out. It is on our channel on Set the Trend podcast. Also, we talked to Frankie Beverly. He's now co-hosting he's doing his do with DJ Ratty from West London. He's original Rap Attack. Rap Attack, which I didn't actually know. He then went into Miami Groove, and he then went and plied his trade with Mystery. So he used to be the first Oasis. So when Mystery was in Oasis, Frankie Beverly was more or less the lead mic man for Mystery and the Mystery crew with the twins and so forth. So he's been around a very, very long time, and he's stood the test of time. And so we talked to him, and we found out some things about him, which was very interesting. So he was there. And also, we talked to Juxi Juice. I won't say Juicy Killer because he doesn't like me doing that.
No, he was very animated and he had some great stories. I really enjoyed his story as well.
Yeah, and he grew up on a sound system as well. Frontline International. From Peckham. From Peckham with Natty and all those guys down there. So that was and he was the first guy on vinyl record. So I know that he did correct me and say, well, he's not the only one that's got a record because Polito has a record. But Juicy Juice is a throwback because he's the only one that's got a vinyl record.
Yeah, proper tunes, yeah. I remember Supertone days. Yeah, I remember actually.
Yeah, so big up yourself, Juxie. So that podcast is out and it's right there for you to have a view. Set the Trend podcast, type it in, it'll be there.
And they even did their own little freestyle in that podcast. You know, Reggie got the record on the phone, and Frankie Beverly starts DJing over it. Loved it.
Check out their freestyle, wicked.
Loved it.
We got Omar, we got Tracy Angel. How you doing?
Did Reggie try a little lyrics? He did, didn't he?
Yeah, I did. I think I did. Yeah.
When? Oh, on the podcast.
Yeah, he did. He did try a little lyrics.
Yeah.
I don't think they rated him actually.
No, they didn't at all. Neither did Creed. and you wonder why I don't get booked by you guys.
Yeah, there's always hope.
It's all right. Do my own thing, innit?
Right. There's always hope.
Oh, what? So there's hope for me then? I can bring out my 5 books.
Yeah, of course. You should put them on record. Put them on. Record them onto some random instrumental beat, and then, or you can recite them, and then put them up. I got a business idea for you afterwards. Actually, I'm not going to say it because I want to cut the check.
My name
Good. Your name's not.
My name's not Poppy Show.
It's not Poppy Show. I'm talking about cutting the check.
No, you're talking about. You're talking about people. You're talking about people having memes and like having a laugh at me.
No. Vibes.
Chatting some old man lyrics.
Vibes. Don't people recite Shakespeare? Don't people recite Burns? Don't people recite so many great poets? Maya Angelou, may so rest in peace. You could be in that category, sir. You know.
You've got some nice chat up lines there, Reggie, you know. He's smooth, he is. He's smooth. He's smooth.
Yeah, put them in eBay. That's right. That's exactly what I said.
So the reason why we're here today, gents, we're going to talk to our new host. And just before we go to them, I'm going to ask each of you how you feel about that. So, Reggie, how do you feel about what we're going to be doing?
In regards to Set the Trend? Yes,
the next gen. Yeah, how do you feel about it? Because let's just be clear before you go forward. You're a person as well that has done a lot with that younger generation of DJs that came up. So you've played a lot with them, and you've got your own like your own relationship with them for your business that you do as well. So how do you feel about that?
Personally, I think I've always been somebody who champions the next generation. I've always believed that we have to pass on the baton. We have to pass on our knowledge. Sometimes we benefit from it, and sometimes we don't. Whatever you pass on, it's always great. And I think it's very important for us to, number one, show the mistakes that we've made for others to avoid, number one. Number two, I 100% believe in the guys that we've got to come on who are going to be able to tell that story a bit in a better way than we can. You know, they can also have that lingo, that conversation with a lot of these guys in a different capacity to the way that we could as well. So I think it's very important, and I think it's helping to grow the Set the Trend podcast brand. And it's, you know, I just got to give them massive props for giving up their time and agreeing to even just come on board, because they're mega stars, man. You know, in regards to, you know, compared to somebody like myself, they are mega stars. They are true mega stars.
Oh, that's nice, man. That's nice. I felt almost like I wanted to shed a tear there. It was like a father speaking.
Yeah, but it's true. You feel proud because at the end of the day, legacy is great. It's important. It's what you leave behind that really matters in life, to be honest, you know. And it's great to be able to say, right, okay, you know, I don't like blowing my own trumpet, but there are a lot of DJs in position because of me. And I'll say that straight. And
we're going to get to that. EastEnder, how do you feel about that?
Again, like Reggie said, it's very important that, you know, we document, you know, the second generation, the third generation of DJ street sounds. I think in our scene, as you know, the black culture, we're not documented. We're not, you know, it's not anywhere to be seen, and it's important that, you know, someone do it. It's even better that we're doing it, and you know, these guys do much more, and we're going to find out when they do their stuff. They've been doing much more than what we did. You know, that, you know, I don't know if they learned from us or, you know, they just went ahead and done their own thing. But I'm so looking forward to it, and you know, and still learn from them, because, you know, they got new ideas, new tricks. Love to hear how they did what they did. See if we can, you know, enhance it, what we do as well. And
from me, finally, big up, big man Andrew Stone on the gap. I haven't seen him in a long time. For me, I always felt, coming up within the industry and coming up how I did, this show over the last 2 years has kind of really changed my mindset in terms of what we gave to the next generation, or maybe what we should have given to the next generation. You will hear a lot of DJs talk about, and myself was talking about, well, we had it hard. This is how we had it. So this is what we had to go through to get here. So what's their problem? What's everybody else's problem that they talk about? I mean, if we had it like that, then if it was good for us, then it's good for them. And the more that I've gone on with the show, the more my opinion now has, you know, it's just so totally changed, and thought, how selfish was that? So how selfish was that to think that you would want other fellow DJs, fellow colleagues, or the younger generation or the next generation that are coming up behind you to go through maybe what you went through? You know what I mean? To, you know, if you could cut out if you could give some inspiration, some words of advice that would cut out the whole heap of shenanigans, the whole heap of backbiting, you know, just lines of some communications that could make their life easier. Why wouldn't you do that? And I feel that now we have a chance to start laying those foundations to do that, because that's something that these guys hopefully will go on to do with the next generation of DJs who are coming behind them, that, you know, that look up to them. So getting all emotional here, we are. Getting all emotional. It's crazy. Yeah, I need a tissue as well, man. I need a tissue, man. Gee, man. Hey, but it's not that we're finishing. We're still going to go on with our interviewing. We've got a lot to interview on our scene, but these presenters are going to carry the baton, and I'd like to introduce them officially to set the trend next gen. Can we introduce the lovely lady like ShaSha?
Hello.
Hey.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. It's been really good hearing you guys, actually. Quite enjoyed that little chat.
Oh, that's good. That works for us. We're going to enjoy it. We're looking forward to having our little chat with you, ShaSha. So you're one of the ones. So we're going to delve into your background just a little piece. Then we're going to have a general conversation about the whole industry as such, and where you guys are going to take it. Reggie, are you still wiping tears from your eyes? Are you?
I'm sorry.
Can we have up on the stage DJ Milk Tray, please? Hey, the Milk Tray, the smooth one.
To the tray.
Welcome to Set the Trend, Milk Tray.
Thank you very much for having me, gents.
How are you, sir? You okay?
I'm very well. I'm really, really good. Thank you.
You wasn't at the back there with some tissues crying of.
Nah.
He gives the sermon. He gives the sermons. He don't cry. He gives the sermons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that.
Yeah.
And last but by no means least at all, Mr. Play. Can we bring DJ Play up into the building? How are you, sir?
Hey.
Hey, not too bad, man. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for accepting the invitation to be a host on the Next Gen. Nice to have you on board, Play.
Yeah, thanks, man. Good to be on board, man. Hopefully we can document history and make some history at the same time.
Yeah, and we want you guys to make it on your own history, and that's the point of this, because when we look at the next, I was writing down, we was going through some of the next generation of DJs, and when we say next generation, I know they're gonna look at you guys like you're not like what next generation, but they've been about years. But to us lot, you're the next generation, yeah. And then there's a next generation after you guys that you guys will be talking about probably throughout your series at different points. Now, I went through some of the sounds and DJs that I think that you guys will be discussing, and this list it's longer than our list, and I was like, wow, there's so much of them. So we're talking about the Gal Flexes, New Winner Roadshow, Invasion Crew, Smooth Connection, Firing Squad, Chucky Online, Fats, is that Fats Group? Yeah. DJ Longers, DJ Slick, Love Connection, GNs.
Fat Cats, I think it was.
Fat Cats, yeah. Big Business, Mixed Kids, Deep Clarity, CLK, Godfather, DJ Mex, Cold Steps, Raw Flavor, Foundation Crew, Rocky Boss, DJ Face, Zest. And that's just to name Get Rich Crew, Players Posse. And that's just to name some of the DJs and sounds that was around your time. We haven't even gone into the promoters and the other people who may have contributed a lot to the scene as well, from maybe
only London.
Pardon? And London, yeah, that's right. And that list, I mean, Sha, you've done a lot with some of these guys here because you're a promoter. Yeah. You're also a gospel singer. I remember having a talk with you as well when I'm sure you was doing artist management or some event management. You was running back in the day, and I'm sure I had a talk with you. Club Mania, for those of us who are there, you know, and this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. Some of the sounds for you, who you're going to be looking forward to interviewing, are.
I mean, thinking about the ones who I worked with probably back in the day and still work with now, people like Hot Stepper, who's just never ending. You know, I look forward to talking to him because I know he would have many, many stories. Then, you know, I did a bit on the house scene as well for a little while. People like Super D, we had to like, you know, remix his name because it was mad.
He can play anywhere, yeah.
The flyer, you know, there were so many things that happened with different DJs, and there were so many, but you do like to stick to the ones that you know because you know exactly what you're going to get. It was difficult for new DJs and that, but I look forward to speaking to them because you don't really get to hear them speak; you only hear them play
music. Yeah. So tell us a bit about Club Mania back in the day. What was that like for you? Because that was what was Club Mania?
So Club Mania, I wasn't even an original member of Club Mania. It was 3 girls. I came in a little bit after, and it was actually a few of us. Like J2 also, I always call him Charlie, and we were like his 3 angels kind of thing. So we literally used to go to different raves and stuff like that, and then we would review them. And that would go online, and we'd be quite ruthless about it as well. Like if your rave was dead, everyone's gonna know. So you know. When you mean,
sorry, Sha, when you mean online, what was that? Was that a website? Was about? So it was in the time of.
There was a website. It was the time of what was it called? MySpace. No, yes, the time of MySpace. I was quite heavily on MySpace. I did a lot in there, and Club Mania was a bit like a blog. So it advertised different events that were going on. We'd have a little section talking about the event with some photos and everything like that. And it was funny as that was going along. There was myself, Tracy Mania, big up Tracy,
Tracy.
And Emma Mania as well. And we would go to different events. We just enjoy ourselves. It was really weird because I was never like I was never like a diva or anything like that. So Tracy would be the one to walk in front. We'd see a queue and be like, you know, and then Tracy would just walk straight to the front, feel no way. And I just walk behind her, like looking at us, and we would always walk straight in. And so yeah, maybe anyway, what it was, a lot of the promoters wanted us to come to their event because they know if we're going, we're telling everyone that we're going and we're talking about your event. So promoters will be telling us to come.
So you got the freebies. So you got loads of freebies then.
We did, to be honest.
Did you get the table with champagne in the middle and stuff?
No, do you know, we were not heavy drinkers, to be fair.
Okay.
We didn't really drink. So that was wasted on us. We didn't really care about that stuff. We just loved to dance. We just loved music. You know, and that was just us attending. Some promoters would ask us to wear T-shirts with their brand on it and stuff like that. And we would do that, do you know what I mean? And not think anything of it. There was a stage where I started to refuse to do it. I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
You was getting a bit old for that.
Yeah, I was like, I'm over it now. It's fine. I'll buy a ticket. It's fine. I'm not. I don't need a T-shirt. It's good.
So you also did the gospel singing with that, and you also graced the stage. So one of the stages that you graced, I remember seeing you on TV, and P Diddy was in front of you, and you was there with the gospel singers there singing background for him. So how did all that, you know, like obviously like you was into the church and that. So how did you combine church with
and the club?
Yeah, and the club, yeah.
Yeah, not easily, because it was funny because in the whole raving circuit, I was seen as the church girl. But then in the church, I was seen as that girl that's always raving. But I was one person. I never hid any of that. I was about what I'm about. Like, I love God, but I love to dance also. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to see me sprawl out in a club somewhere doing the madness. You'll never see that. But I will be with my friends and I will enjoy myself and I won't be ashamed of it. But with the singing, the choir, I think I joined London Community Gospel Choir. I joined in about 2006. And I still sing with them every so often now. And we've sung with so many artists. We've traveled to so many different countries as well. Like even Russia, like countries that I would never take myself. I've sung with other choirs many times at Brit Awards. A lot of them choirs, I'd probably be in there somewhere. Singing with like Pharrell, Blur. You know, you do all of these massive names, but then you still go and get on the tube with your Oyster card, so it's not all that amazing, but the actual performance is great. We sung at one of the FA World Cup? I always say it wrong.
FA Cup.
I said that on the news once, you know. I was on one of the news and I said that and everyone laughed at me. I'm like, I don't do football, leave me alone.
FA Cup.
We sang on the pitch before Everton and Chelsea match, I think it was.
Oh, well, we won't talk about them teams anyway.
Yeah,
so, we get your drift. We get your drift.
Yeah, they took me to many countries and to sing with many artists. So yeah.
Cool. ShaSha, thanks for that. EastEnder. Talk about them.
Oh, yep. Well, that's background noise.
Somebody's listening back to themselves.
Yeah, it is, but anyway.
Our second guest is one of like if everyone knows, like, Fifth Avenue's one of my favorite sounds, and Sweet Vibes is one of my favorite DJs.
Oh. Okay.
For the next generation, Milk Tray holds that position for me. I just like the way, you know, he entertains the crowd. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't, you know, he's 100% sure of his music playing ability. And I like that in him. And since the lockdown, you know, I've been watching his Instagram lives and, you know, I'm more and more impressed. And I'm so happy that he's here as one of our second host of our next generation. So once again, Milk Tray, welcome to Set the Trend.
Yes, what's good?
Hi, it's all good. I'm happy that you're here.
Yeah, man.
You happy to be part of the team?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it.
So for our viewers that may not know Milk Tray, how did you get involved in the music industry?
So me and my cousin decided we were obsessed with Bad Boy Records at the time. So we had just left sixth form and we were heading into college. Big up my cousin Ibs, and we were at an open day at Kingston College, and we were like, yeah, man, we want to set up a sound. He's like, what are we gonna call it? He's like, well, can't call it Bad Boy Entertainment because Puffy's already done that. So he was like, why don't we call it Sweet Boy Entertainment? I was like, yeah, that works for me. So Reggie knows this story. And then so we needed to come up with some Sweet Boy names. My cousin Ibs came up with the name Mr. Valentine. Because ladies like Valentine's Day, and then he was like, what do ladies like? I was like, they like chocolates. So he was like, all right, cool. Like, what are we gonna call you? Like Black Magic? I said, no, we don't do Obio in our family. Or
Just God. God.
Yeah. So he was like Quality Street, Ferrero Rocher. I was like, nah, that's all long. And then he's like, do you remember the advert for the Milk Tray advert? I was like, yeah. The man jumps out the helicopter, climbs up the side, runs in, drops the box of chocolates and the card with the silhouette and the catchphrase was, all because the ladies love Milk Tray. That's how I came up with the name. And we started our thing back in like 1995. So it's been a long road for me.
And what type of clubs and where was you playing?
I think like our first kind of clubs that we started playing in, some may remember it as the Theatre in Wandsworth, or Citizen.
Citizen.
Yeah. So we were like one of the first promoters in there. We were doing a Friday night in there called Nostalgia. Big up Deo, big up a couple others. And then we started doing an event called Assorted Flavors. We were getting like over 1,000, 1,200 people in there every couple of months, and then kind of just progressed from there. And just haven't stopped ever since.
Ray mentioned a lot of sounds that you're going to be covering in your podcast series.
Mm-hmm.
And you've played with a lot of these, but do you ever get a chance? Have you ever got a chance to sit down and speak with any of those sounds and DJs?
Yeah, so like I come from the era of like the Ill Kids, Rampage, Boogie Bunch, 90%, Firing Squad. Rest in peace, Dr. Psycho, rest in peace, Swing. I come from that school, so I was blessed and fortunate enough to have personal relationships with all of them in regards to kind of being able to talk to them about the industry and get nuggets and that kind of stuff. So it's been good, but it would be great to be able to catch up with a lot of them because I think there's a lot that's been not documented. So it'd be good to kind of get that done.
Cool. And then look, the last question I want to ask you before we come back in, as you're kind of handing over the baton to you
Mm-hmm.
and your team, what advice have you had from the elders been given to you that you've taken and gone forward with it?
So I'd probably say people like TLC, G Money, because I'm a radio. So for those who don't know, my whole thing really, I've built my name on the basis of being on radio. So I started on Delight FM back in like 2002. And I've never not been on radio ever since. So recently, last year, I moved to Flex FM. So I've been that guy. So a lot of my influences are heavily from radio.
And what's the word? What's what they told you that you've taken? What can you remember?
Do you be original? Don't try to be somebody else. and just create your own lane. And I feel like I've pretty much done that. Especially probably in, say, the last 10 years. So now I'm just, as you said it earlier, I'm so confident in my musical ability to play in any arena, in any circumstance, in front of any crowd. And I know how to entertain. I'm like a one-man band.
Sure do.
If you see me on Instagram in my hub right here, you would never believe the size of it, because I make it look big, because I'm running up and down, I'm doing all sorts.
Yeah. You know what I love about you as well, Milk Tray, is your live remixes. When you're doing your live remixes on the radio.
Yeah, funny. Yeah. That's my, I think that's my USP. Because I love music, and I love all types of music, and I'm not afraid to play what a lot of other people wouldn't play. And I kind of got that from the Ill Kids. They used to do an event called Suki Suki.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you would hear them playing pop, Madonna, Wham, you know what I mean, stuff from like Dirty Dancing soundtrack, and then you'd hear Richard or Sticky just mix it up with something else. So yeah, for me, I just kind of took that and just ran with it.
Wicked. I know how the crew used to do that as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, Richie.
Yes,
our third guest.
Our third great superstar, alongside Mr. Milk Tray, megastar, alongside ShaSha, the absolute queen. We have also got Mr. Play, good friend of mine, promoter, MC, you'll say, yeah, host,
artist, manager, host,
artist manager, international DJ, and producer, and entrepreneur, and yeah,
and
more to come.
Yeah. So listen, it's a great honor, sir, to have you on Set the Trend.
Hold on, Reg. You forgot I think he's ex-Flowetry manager, but he still might be knowing Play, because he talks about.
Oh yeah, the flow assist.
Still
Flowetry. Yeah. No. Basically, guys achieved a lot, and he's also a fellow half Sierra Leonean. So, as you know, I'm Sierra Leonean. So basically, that's how we kind of like got a great kindred spirit over the years. Not only through that, just a great friend as well. And I don't want to be biased too much in it. So, Play. Listen, you've done things such as like hosted the BET Awards. So you're obviously well versed in that. Give us a bit of information. Give us a little bit about what it was like to get to doing something like hosting the BET.
Growing up watching, House Party and P. Diddy, like my brother Milk Tray, I just always wanted to be a part of the culture, a part of the history. So to actually be there, amongst some legends and hold my own, what I wanted was more Brits there, because, playing alongside some of these guys and working alongside some of these guys in America, they can't touch us, because coming from where we come from, like playing in the shubs. If you can't rock a shubs, mate, like you're literally nothing. So to rock, if you can rock a shubs, you can rock anywhere in the world.
What's a shubs? What's a shubs? What's a shubs to some of our listeners? They might not know what a shubs means.
So, shubs is what you kind of call like almost like I would say a ghetto superstar type of backstreet event.
In a house.
Like they could get a house, put bin liners on the windows. And
we call it the blues dances. Okay.
Yes. And really just subs it out. So if you can impress those people, if you can win those people, you can rock anywhere in the world. So it was just great to be amongst them, and that's really let them know that.
You made the transition though from being a host to a DJ. How did you find that? And the fact that what has amazed me is that you went from being the man on the microphone. I remember text me and all these events, and you've held the microphone for me and numerous of times. We actually had a clash where we clashed a sound system, and we actually won. And I'll say that you won it for us by hosting the mic. But how do you make the transition to being a
I got the trophy, though, just in case
Yeah. You made it feel happy.
But hold on, pause a minute. What did you win it on again? What did you do?
We had a clash in Equinox against the sound system. And I'm not going to say what we did, but anyway.
No, I didn't ask you, Reggie. But I didn't ask you. I asked Play.
Basically, Reggie called me and said, "Yo, Play, I'm doing a booking. I need a mic man." So I said, "Yeah, cool, great." Nearer to the date, I found out it was a clash. But I'm like, the collective we was competing against. You know, I grew up with them. Played alongside them, so I knew that they had weapons of
artillery.
So who were some of those guys that you were playing against?
Pardon me?
It was actually it was us versus them, to be fair.
And who was them?
I wanted to do the clash with dub plates, but the promoter said we can't do dub plates.
Yeah, but who was them? It was
Galflex.
Galflex.
Yeah,
okay.
Galflex. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It was Galflex. So at that time, I weren't really into dubs, if I'm honest. I wasn't really into dubs. I didn't really know much about the culture. I must have Fireman from Young One Sound. We got Fire. He's the guy that really got me into, you know, what dubs are, and you know, like I was more in the R&B hip hop scene with the Kid Boogie Bunch. So in our era, we didn't really need dub. But he was showing me Tony Matteron, like, yo, if you can implement this Tony Matteron style in the R&B hip hop world, similar to like what like Milkshake would do as like one man band. We promoted, we hosted and DJ'd ourselves. So he brought that in. He kind of installed that into me. Next thing you know, Reggie says, you know, it's the clash. I'm like, brother, like I know, like I had pride in it. I'm like, bro, man can't humiliate me because I'm not having that. And so we had to be creative because it was literally, I think, it was the day before. The clash. Yeah, the day before the clash, we literally had to get ready for a clash. I'm like, there's no way. I don't know nothing. I had not much connections. I didn't know what to do. But Trapped in the Closet from R. Kelly came out. So I worked with Reggie on his street team. Sony, was it Sony then, Reg?
It was Sony then,
yeah, Sony, yeah. So Trapped in the Closet, R. Kelly just come out, and it was so phenomenal. So we had to be a bit creative, and I remember the strategy. Like, listen, we're not gonna win no rounds, but it's not how you start; it's how you finish. It's how you finish. So we were holding L's the whole clash. Holding L's, you know, big up to
we actually won 2 rounds, I think it was.
Nah, man, they came out with army suits. Like,
we were wearing boxing attire.
Say it again.
Remember, I was in boxing attire.
Yeah, and I put on an African outfit. I didn't know what to do, but them man, they come out ready for war. And I remember at the time, remember like, welcome to Jam Rock. Yeah, but there was a one that said, welcome to Equinox, Reggie Star, get him head boss. Man, I was like, but it wasn't Damian Marley, it was Dixie. I think he cut himself on dub. No. But it was so creative. No, it was so creative. I was like, oh, it's not really a slice dub, he made it himself. So I was like, oh my God. So anyway, the clash came about. We were losing. I'm like, Reg, man, you just come and embarrass me. Everyone was there. The girls were there laughing. And them times I'm Playboy, innit? So man, I'm like, oh, my reputation's in tatters. What on earth is going on? Anyway, so it was the final round. I think it was the last tune of the day. And I said, you know what? I can't remember whatever happened. And I said, you know what? I need everyone to shut their mouth and turn to the screen. And so it was the Trapped in the Closet, the very first one where the guy, you know, when he goes, oh, it's a lover, oh my God, it's a man. He opens the door and it's a man. And what we've done, we superimposed one of the members' faces into the screen. So it was like it was them. And then we played Bigger Than Hip Hop. I think it was Dead Prez. And basically we won with comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Entertainment.
but just to be clear, there's Simon, there's
Yes.
Dixie,
Yes.
and there was
Demas.
Demas. So it's only one of three that you could have imposed your face on. So which one was it?
I think we put Simon. I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it because I was the one that did it. I did it on that.
You did it. You're claiming it now, yeah?
But no, because I was on the Mac in Sony. I remember the day of actually, and did it on Final Cut Pro because obviously I had the original DVD. So that's the reason why we did it. But yeah, anyway, we don't need to talk about that. How did you get from DJ? That's what I want to know.
So cut a long story short, we won out of comedy, and that was it. We got the trophy, and I was trying to get the DVD because I wanted to watch it back and really understand, because there was some dubs in there. I was thinking, oh, that shit kind of coming like it's personal blood. Like, what for that? Don't these brothers like me, or I thought you were my brethren. Because it was on baseline. I would big up G Money and Yardi. I was on baseline back in the day. So I thought it was cool, Nick. Like I weren't so much I enjoyed the sound system, but I was kind of like, I tried the sound thing. I remember being in Foreplay, then Good Intentions with Blondie, we were subsidiaries of like the Ill Kids and Psycho Surgery, Milk Tray as well. And then kind of I became a promoter because, to be honest with you, I was a promoter first. Big up Ralph Daly. I came under Ralph's wing, doing under 18. I then progressed. Sorry. I then progressed into like the over 18 circuit. That's when I was working with Sticky, Psycho, Rampage. Something happened with Rampage, which made me want to be a promoter. I remember there was a girl I was seeing back in the day, man. We went SW1 club. They moved the rope, put her into VIP, and the book didn't come back. I said, nah, man. Like, fuck being a DJ. I need to be an institution.
Yeah.
And that's what got me into promotion. I said, nah, man, I need that power. Like the power of the rope. The rope had so much power, it's a rope, but it had so much power, and I just wanted it. But then I went into the promotion.
Where did Text Me come in?
No, so
that was my experience of.
Yeah, so Sticky said, Sticky's exact words was, I'm gonna introduce you to someone. He's going to jinnle you, but you're gonna learn a lot. Yeah,
it's not me, by the way. Just for anybody says.
Yeah, so that's what Sticky said. So I'm like, no one can't jinnle me, man. No one can't jinnle me. Yeah. Fuck, was I wrong? Anyway, he introduced me to Mr. Silk, and we went on to create history. And just for the record, Hot Stepper used to go around and say that he was the guy that done CDs first. Yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah, Text Me did 2002 Queen Jubilee. We set the trend. Yeah, with mixed CDs. That's one of this promoting.
Now, it's good that you mix that, because stuff like that is what you're going to discuss. And it's hard in the sound business because, especially back in the day, what we found out is that everybody thought they did everything first. And it's only when you talk and when you start to mention timelines, and then you kind of get the clarity about maybe who started it first. Because it's easier in your day to document that. In our day, there was no smartphones. Anyway, it was just a red box, or it was a telephone in the front room. You know what I mean? And you were lucky if you could go and answer it or not. You know what I mean? So there wasn't no social communication back in our day like that. When you first started, Sha, what kind of communication was you using to promote, to get your message across?
Well, it was definitely MySpace. I used a lot. I had a lot of phone numbers, so texts would happen. And it was just like, literally, people would phone me to find out what is happening this weekend. Every single week, people would phone me. And I used to think, how can I monetize this? Because I spend a lot of time on the phone saying what rave's going to be good. And I could literally guarantee that wherever I send you this weekend is going to be popping. So that was why, like, Club Mania were the Pubmania ladies were like, you know, kind of sought after because they knew if we say we're coming somewhere, everyone else is coming.
Okay, so now looking at it 10 or 15 years later,
yeah,
how would you have monetized that? Because obviously, if you're a source of being able to sell tickets, being able to, it's like when I'm in Miami, the role that you're doing, they would have tables, you know what I mean? Like they would be letting the clubs free, like you'd give them a table, you would definitely be an A-class influencer, you know, in terms of getting revenue into the club. What would you have done differently if you was that person now?
Well, it probably would have been online because I think everyone goes online now. And I think it depends. It does depend on the generation. Like maybe like you guys' generation they don't love online as much as our generation do. And then the generation below us are even more online. Do you know what I mean? So like things like when I started out, obviously flyering, I was going out at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock with my hood up. I was outside flyering. I was doing all of that. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I got to know other promoters because we'd be standing out there freezing together. We talk to each other and it was like a little community. Was
that for your dance or was that you was doing it for an event promoter?
At first it was for mine, but then others would then, well, I monetize that as well. I'm like, I'll do your flyers as well, but you got to pay me this amount. So I take other flyers as well and do a few events at the same time.
So what was that event? What was that first event that you was doing?
Oh, well, I started doing the first events. I started doing events in West End until I started to hate West End.
You guys really though took West End to another level because we didn't really go into the West End, but it was your generation that kind of opened up West End. It made it more familiar. I think we was going in there for a few events, but you guys kind of took it, you know.
West End clubs, they thought they wanted black people. They thought we were cool at first because I was just a raver. I was just raving. I loved raving. I was at, the 10 rooms, all of those clubs. I was there every week, like weekdays, go to work the next day tired. I was just out all the time. But I think it was because I was seen all the time. Like I remember there was this white guy, I don't remember his name, and he would see me all the time and he'd say, "Oh, I'm doing this party in a mansion, like could you bring some of your friends?" Because clearly he just thought black people look cool. It'd be cool to have some black people there. This is before black people were trouble or known to be trouble. So I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll bring my girl's mansion party, it's all looking nice. So then that kind of happened, and then I started to do like guest lists at clubs like in West End. So obviously all the people I know mainly black, like 96% of them are black. So then all the black people are coming, and then they decided, actually, we don't like you guys no more. So they didn't really want to let my people in. So I'm like, well, I'm not doing this then if I have to pretend to be other people's friends to get them into your club. Because all these people I'm bringing are people I know. They trust my word. They know that I go out. They know that anywhere I go is going to be popping. So anywhere I say, they're coming. So I stopped with West End because we're not welcome. So I didn't want it.
Do you think that they weren't welcome because I know some people would turn up at places like 10 Rooms and Embassy and Funky Buddha and buy 2 drinks because it wasn't cheap. and literally wouldn't buy a drink for the rest of the night. Do you reckon that had something to do with it?
Fortunate, to be fair. The drink prices were ridiculous. And for a normal person like me at that time, I was probably working in retail at the time, your early jobs and that. We don't have that kind of money, and we're not really drinkers as well. At that time, I was a dancer. That's another story. But so I was coming with like dancers and stuff like that. Dancers don't want to drink. They've got water and they're good and they're popping and locking and whatever in the middle of the floor. That's all they want. So the club didn't like that. They wanted ballers. Do you know what I mean? So that's why they had like R&B stars coming down and
And I suppose for Milk Tray, moving from the West End to the city of London. Again, you lot were dominant force in the city.
Yeah.
So, again, getting to playing in the city. What was the clubs that you guys was playing at?
Oh man, in the city.
Just pause right there. Sorry to just pause right there, but I just got to big up G Money because he's in the room, and even when this flyer went out, he said, he was excited about the three of you doing this. So I just like to big him up because he's online now, and I know he's a big influence in the game.
He's a legend, man. He's a
legend, man. We got G. Like a dread bass line.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mentioned him already. So
you did.
Yeah. But yeah, going to the city, Abacus, Agenda, APT,
APT, yeah.
Yeah.
Earl's Wine Bar, bro.
Earl's. Oh my God.
Earl's as well.
What was that club that CLK did? Was it Abacus?
No, CLK did The Wall.
Big Wall.
Big up to CLK.
Yeah.
The Wall. Every month you go up the flight of stairs.
Yeah.
There's the little balcony thing.
And was you guys welcome in the city by the clubs?
I'd probably say they saw that there was a gap in the market because obviously those city venues are designed to take those who finish work after like 9 to 5 to then go and spend money. So they're empty and they're not doing business on the weekend. So for them it was a great look with regards to getting money in and getting their bar spends up. But obviously you've then got to think about the dynamics of that with regards of city police as well. Because when you start having to deal with city police, it's a different ball game. And then, the whole thing about risk assessments and 696 came about. And then, you're having to constantly send your name, your address, your details to promoters. And then they're having to get you checked. And then if you don't pass, then that promoter can't put you on. Or sometimes you do the risk assessment and then the risk assessment goes in late. And then on the day, you'll be like, you might get a phone call. I never got that phone call. I'm just putting that out there.
So you used to do city stuff as well, didn't you?
Say that again, Reg?
You used to do city stuff as well, didn't you? In the guise of a promoter.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I done pajama parties in the city.
Oh my God, pajama parties! Stop right there.
That was in my mind.
Play.
I don't want to say.
Relationships are mash up because of play.
Pajama party. So, hey, why did you decide to put this thing on DVD? That's when it mash up.
Yeah.
You know what? Again, I wanted to be forward thinking. So me and Silk, we done the Texas. So we were the first set of promoters to do the customized texts to people's phones saying, "Hi Reggie," or "Hi EastEnder," "Hi Fifth Avenue, come to text me at Sound every Sunday," hence the name, Text Me.
Yeah.
So from then it evolved and went to the CDs. We started to give out the CDs because we were the only ones doing it. We even had it in the hard copy like it's an album. Yeah, so we spent real big money on it, but we was making, we was getting between 500 to 800 people every Sunday for 3.5 years in West End. Mate, we was making peace, so it was an expenditure we could afford. And so afterwards, when Sound closed down and went into, became the M&M Factory and the W Hotel, I remember I was very heavily influenced by the Southern culture, Atlanta culture. So I used to watch a lot of the DVDs. So, my name, the character missed the play because there was a guy, I remember when Text was finishing, I thought, what the fuck am I going to do? And there was a guy who came up to me and said, a guy by the name of Reggie Styles, he's like, play, branding. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, brand yourself as a product. I was like, okay, so explain. And he started to teach me about branding. So the DVD was a part of Mr. Play's branding. So, I done it to market to the masses because you got to understand, I was getting the very first pajama party. I had 20 people inside, and I had about 200 odd people outside. But I remember Mr. Silk saying some good advice he gave me. He said, "Play, start how you need to go on." And I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "There's a bag of people outside there." He goes, "If you let those people in, you will never ever." You'll never command authority. So if you tell people come in all white, they're gonna think, man, I'm wearing what I want. So the 20 people inside there, we explained to them, like, ram outside, but guys, you're the only ones that made an effort. And so everyone was kind of cool. We got them liquored up, drunk, and we had the best time with just 20 people. Then the next time, everyone's like, right, you really kept man outside and rare. And then that's when people's like, right, okay, fucking about. And I want to big up Calvin, security. He really held me down and, you know, executed the rules.
Oh, we had beef, but we'll get on to that later.
So it went from 20 to 200. It went from 20 to 200 to like 1,000. And I remember, like, I would have the city on lock, like people running around. And the beautiful thing about my party, no one knew where it was. It was a secret location, and we used the texting technology that, you know, you text this number at 7 p.m. and you'll get a text back telling you the location. And mate, so everyone was getting ready, not knowing where they were going. And Silks and Spice, just for the record, a lot of people say that they bust Silks and Spice. No, Mr. Play bust Silks and Spice. Facts, right? So that was the place. No.
So we're going to get into all that. No, this is the beautiful thing about the conversation, because we set the trend, and this is for everybody that comes on. You have to back your chat, and when you go on into further these series and the podcast, they'll be bringing out discussions about that, and then they'll be bringing out examples and everything else, and that's why it's just so good to be talking about that. Milk Tray, some of the sounds that you mentioned that you're looking forward to inviting onto the podcast. Ace, Simon Says. Is that Simon Says from
Ill Kids?
From Ill Kids, Simon Says. Yeah.
Why? Simon, for me, Simon was like, he was like the Jay-Z of our era, like with regards to being in a dance, like
wicked MC, wicked.
You'd go to like Ezekiel's middle floor, and him and Forbes, he would just be them.
You go, girl. You run the rail. You run the rail.
Yeah, like Simon can command the crowd, and I learned a lot from Simon, like mad a lot, like just watching him, being around them, and just seeing how he was able just to take a crowd and just command it. Ladies,
you know, he named me Heavy.
What?
You know, my name is Richie Heavy Styles.
Heavy Styles, yeah.
I've got the CD, bro. I've got the CD.
It's actually on CD. He named me Heavy. Big up Simon.
Yeah, see it there. So yeah, Simon for me was just the MC to kind of just look up to. I know like the likes of Play, myself, Ibs, Yinka from Top Cats, and like there were so many of us that kind of looked to Simon as like he was like the Don, and then obviously you had Sticky.
GOAT, man. He was the GOAT.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. So for me, going to Gas Club on a Tuesday, like you get down to West End, you try and get in there before 11 because it's free. You know what I mean? You get there, you got Ill Kids, you got George K, he's back. Yeah, and then like it was just carnage in there, man. Like Tuesday, Gas Club, Wednesday, Hanover Grand, Thursday, Samantha's, Friday, SW1, Saturday, Ezekiel's, Sunday, Bug Bar or Bar Rum Bar.
Coliseum.
Like, Coliseum, like, it was mad.
But it's funny how you mentioned Simon's name like that, because when I see Simon, unks. So
yeah.
Instead of brother, he says unks. You get me? So he kind of puts me in my place. But I've never heard anybody talk about Simon like that. I'm not saying that you lot haven't, but this is the kind of platform that kind of brings that to the fore and kind of gives credit where credit's due, because I don't think a lot of people might look at Simon and say that Simon was good, but how good was Simon? And that's the kind of thing that this platform should bring out about that.
I mean, if you put it in context for people who probably don't know or aware of Ill Kids, he's like what I would excuse me for saying, he's like Polito Don, Barry White in one. For me,
wow.
Of that era, of the new era, of the era below you guys, below the kind of like street sound scene.
So if you had Simon Says on Milk Tray,
yeah,
what would be the one question that you'd be dying to ask him?
The one question, it'd probably maybe be to do with like the whole like Choice FM stuff, that kind of stuff. I'd probably want to know, because I love radio.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So for me, like any kind of information to do with radio, that's my thing.
Mhm.
So that's what I'd probably kind of ask, because Choice FM was just like the stable for everybody. You know, so you know, listening to George K, Jigs, Jenny Francis, Angie, all of that, Daddy Ernie. For me, that was just like, that was life. And then obviously then Baseline came about. And then you had, you know, G Money's, you know, the
Romantic
Yardies,
Murphy, bro. Romantic Murphy.
Murphy.
No. Here's the one. Three Wise Men.
Three Wise
Very
Men.
wise man.
Come on.
But let's not also, because I think even though you got Simon Says, because I do love Ill Kids. Richie Sticky Forbes. He's probably got the biggest garage tune. End of story.
Garage tunes, some of the garage tunes.
Yeah, but I think he's got the biggest garage tune. I don't think, if you talk about an iconic garage tune, I don't think you can beat Boo by Dynamite. I don't think there's any garage tune that is more iconic than that. And I'm not saying they're not good. They got great garage tunes. But Boo is something that transcends kind of every age group kind of thing. You know what I mean? You know,
Were they all three in the video?
I was about to
all
say.
three in the video.
I was just about to say.
No, they were in the video of Boo.
You see the video, yeah? You had I would say you had probably the coldest mic men doing intros at that time for their era. You had
Who was in it?
You had Psycho.
Yeah.
You had Ill Kids,
Yeah.
Mr. Simon, and me.
Yeah.
We were the ones that had the talking parts.
Yeah.
The video, you would see you talking to Psycho and introing it, and proper man.
Yeah. Because it's heavy, brethren. It's heavy. Heavy, brethren.
So those are some of the stories that you're going to tell. Sha, for you, who's the one person that you're kind of looking forward to bringing on and talking about the history?
I don't know. I'm thinking about someone, because I know Play would just be very, bring a lot of fire, especially there's a couple discrepancies that's been floating around. I mentioned Hot Stepper and Super D just mainly because of the history. Who else did I mention? Oh, Big Business as well, actually, because they're named Big Business. I think they're excellent businessmen. When I go out, if they're playing, they're very skillful with what they do, but then also, they run events and they just do so much. Even when they do like their lives, everything's different. They always go a step further with everything they do. So I've always just loved what they do. So it would be good to kind of pick their brains and, you know what I mean? Just pick their brains, isn't it? Because they're just doing a lot. For this generation, I feel like they always go a step further.
Yeah.
And Smooth Connection as well, isn't it? Was Smooth Connection part of that kind of like click? Because I remember they doing quite a few raves and stuff. Big up Butch Cassidy, by the way. He's got a clothing brand called On Black Clothing. Big up Butch and Reds and Mitch.
Oh yeah.
Leon. Weren't they part of your part of that same era, Shah?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, the soul deep time. You had like Bad Vibes. G Boys in the Bill, and they were around that kind of time as well.
I'm going to ask you a question, Shah. What did you think from a promoter's hat? We've had this discussion with somebody, a few of the older promoters. I would love to know your thoughts on DJs and the way they played. I mean, what was the difference in your kind of like your raves with your DJs, and what really upset you about DJs the most?
Well, when a DJ kind of turns up late or turns up just in time for his set, so he hasn't listened to what's been played before, and he comes and plays what's just been played because he wasn't here, that's quite annoying. DJs that are not brave enough to change up the routine. So like certain DJs, they'll play a song, and I know exactly what you're going to play next because you do the same thing every single time.
Stop right there. Stop right there. That is so interesting because a lot of our conversations we've had with plenty of DJs, and especially through Set the Trend, it's been a running theme where we've had this like top 100 tunes.
It's a regular thing.
It exists on your scene as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. They'll play, or they might hear another DJ play it in a certain order, see the response they get, and then they'll just go and do the same thing somewhere else, and it's annoying. Like no one.
Can you see the similarity?
And it gets boring.
Sha, have you got a problem with the top 100 tunes, or have you just got a problem with the way that they're played?
I don't have a problem with like the more popular tunes. That's fine because they're popular because people like them. But it's just if they're played in the same order all the time, that just means you're not creative. You're literally just. I can do it. I might as well do it then. Do you know what I mean? Because I know the tunes.
Sorry to cut you. Sha, how many female promoters was around the time that you was around?
Not many. Actually, there's one in Brixton. Play, you would know her.
Red?
Oh, I can't remember the club name. My memory's awful. There was, but I didn't actually know her. There wasn't many. There were a few that came up.
Miss Chin? Miss Chin?
Natalie.
Miss Chin. Yeah.
That was the only one I knew that was around for a while. Other ones came and disappeared. I don't know why that is. I mean, I could assume, but a lot of the time it's mainly male. DJs do have a bit of a reputation with the ladies. Yeah, we do. And, in general, we do. So it's difficult for a promoter. Like, so for me, booking DJs and stuff, I'm having to speak to DJs all the time. Or if I'm working with another male promoter, I'm on the phone all the time. Whether they might be in a relationship and they're speaking to me daily on and off the phone. And then I'm having to deal with certain DJs. They will come on to me. They will do that. They'll try it, test it out. I would. They will. Do you know what I mean? And I would have to
put them
be
in there
strong enough and be tactful enough to turn it down without offending. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't easy because you still have to work with these people. I still want to book you because you're a great DJ, but I'm not going to sleep with you.
I would have asked player.
I had to work that all the time. That was like a skill.
You know what? Can I just say on behalf of the DJs, I'm sorry you had to endure that.
No, I do actually. Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry you had to endure it. And you know, there is a big discussion about the way that a lot of black women are treated at the moment in the scene. And I like to apologize on behalf of those guys who did that and behaved in that way. Obviously, I never ever done that.
You know, me too. Do you know? And it's a shame because I would have loved more female promoters. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be hanging around just pure man around me. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to settle down too, but people are thinking she's always around man. So it made life hard for me. Do you know what I mean?
Let me just have a quick question for Play. We've been doing Set the Trend for at least a year and a bit now.
2 years. 2 years.
2 years. 2 years.
And Reggie has never changed his name to Reggie Cut the Check. And he said he had to do that because you're on there today. What does he mean by that?
Cut the check means cut the check, isn't it? Like handle
the money.
Like handle your business. Like I wasn't the best DJ. So what I had to do is learn how to entertain and handle my business. And that's what cut the check means.
Okay. We got a couple more questions to ask you before we wrap this up. And I know people are just, there's comments going on. I don't know if Reggie, if you can round up a few of them for us before we finish, we might ask them that.
Producer, can you post some comments, please? Sorry. Big up to Rochelle and also to Prue, who have been bigging you guys up. Big up to who else is there? Omar Funky Dread, he was bigging you guys up as well. And talking about memories.
Yeah, big up Hanif, because I see Hanif.
Oh, yeah, Hanif. Yeah, you're talking about balls on tables.
So here, what Play? We had a lively pre-discussion yesterday, and it's something that we're not going to go fully into. but I know you got some passion on what you think our generation did or did not do for your generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and would you like to elaborate a little bit about that? Because we're going to have a conversation, not the full conversation today, but this is one of the conversations that I'm sure that you look forward to having with us at some point.
Yeah, I think your generation was very selfish. You only helped yourself. You didn't bring none of us youngsters in. You know, we were there looking for guidance from 99% of you, and you guys, you know, you lot had hardship yourself, and you thought, well, if we can do it, like, why can't they? And I've helped so much new school DJs because I didn't want to be like you lot.
Same. I'll be honest. I'm the same. There was so many times where I thought, like, the fact, because I know to some of you, I maybe like slightly new, but we've now learned that I was here.
Brother, we've been doing it for 20 years, blood.
Yeah, I was here. I was doing it. So again, like play, you know, with my partners, we set up like the Rights Academy. So we teach DJs like children. We go into schools, we teach them. I even had one of our students on my radio show this morning, and like that's legal radio. So
that's right.
Like, and he's 11. He's 11, and he's on legal radio. Like,
wow.
Right. And you're saying, wow, you lot should have done that. You guys should have done that.
Shah, before I'm going to come back on that. Shah, what was your experience? Did any of us bigger, like the bigger man, the bigger generation, did any of us reach out and say to you, can you come and help promote this dance? Would you be part of this dance? Did we ever show you any love? Because I know you was around, you was around J2 and Goody and Dodd at the time, you know what I mean? Because they had the whole flyer design company stuff going on. So, but was there any real love, or was it just the fact, just get on with it and just do what you're doing?
Yeah, it really was just those guys. And I guess Lloyd Life as well. I don't really know whether to place Lloyd with you guys or with us, because he was like, age-wise, maybe.
He's both, man. Yeah, he's older than me, mate. He's older than me.
50th birthday golf day, so don't worry about him. He's old.
So yeah, I know he plays golf happily as well. Yeah, so I worked with him quite a lot. He had the D101 magazine thing going, so I used to do interviewing for that as well. And you know, without really going into it, that is where, you know, I did so many favors. I was that person, but I don't regret any of those favors that I did. You know what I mean? Because it gave me experience. It was great for networking, and it built a lot of it built me up to do what I wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that was about it. No one really said, this is how you do it. It was more, can you help me with this? And I learned like that. So they weren't doing it to help me. They wanted me to help them. That was it. Really.
So that's one of the discussions that we're going to have. And I'd just like to say, because G Money came on there, because you may not, because he changed his name to an African name. He lives in, where is he now? He's in Kenya. And he's doing his thing down there. I think he's probably changed it, because there he is. Baseline opened enough doors. So when we come back and we have this bigger conversation, yeah, I'm sure that's going to be part of the conversation, as well as I do get you that even if Baseline did it, there wasn't enough opportunity. I personally have my own opinion on that, and we will have that discussion. I don't think it's for here. I think that makes a podcast myself.
My conscience is clear. That's all I'm saying anyway.
And, well, we will have a discussion and we will put that to the test. I'm sure. I'm sure that's one of the conversations that we're going to have. So, in closing, I'm going to ask the three of you to just say what you're looking forward to. So, Play, what are you looking forward to in the series, and inviting some guests onto your show? What are you looking forward to find out?
I'm looking forward to highlighting and shedding the light on certain DJs that are really doing their thing, but the masses don't know about. Also, that's the younger generation and my era. And I'm also looking forward to question the older generation as to why their mentality was the way it was.
Thank you, Milche.
For me, I'm looking forward to exposing my story and my brand to a newer market. Because I'm sure people that are here, probably their daughters or their sons have come to the parties that I do or the raves that I play at. So it's kind of good for them to put a face to the name. And then just to be able to hear the stories and just the opinions of my other co-hosts, and to get this to a point where we can monetize it and it becomes something financially successful, because twins ain't cheap.
I love that statement. ShaSha?
I'm definitely looking forward to all of what Play and Milk Choice said. Also, it just came to me as I was speaking. I would like to highlight the females in the industry as well, because all of this didn't happen without us. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just me. There were many girls that I called on that helped me out on doors, all that kind of stuff. There were a lot of them. And, they never got highlighted. No one really knew their names or anything like that, but they kept the ball going. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to speaking to some of the DJs to just find out even why they did it. What were they trying to get at? Was it just for the girls? Because that's what it looks like to us some of the time. Because no one cared about them before until they started DJing. Do you know what I mean? So I'd love to know. It's the truth. I'd love to know why people do this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to logging into your first, whether it's live or whether it's behind closed doors, whether it's pre-recorded. We know we've got to talk through some dates and times and get everything set for you guys, but we just like to welcome you to the brand. And I really enjoyed this conversation with you guys. In fact, it's been one of my favorite conversations, definitely one of my top 3 conversations that we've had, because I recognize a lot of stuff that you lot are talking about just by being in my own world and still knowing what's going on. But maybe I didn't, just never connecting the dots maybe as much as I did. And I do enjoy the storytelling, because that's what it's about at the end of the day, bringing back some memories for us. So thank you.
Salute as well, like to Shah. I mean, the stuff about Club Mania and doing the whole gospel thing, amazing. Milk Tray, as you know, man, inspiration all the time. Love watching him, and even from On Top FM days in the mornings, great radio show, great positivity, great inspiration for everybody. And big up to Play as well. Can't forget, Mr. Billboard. He's I almost cried. I saw Play in the Billboard magazine get a review, and seriously, tears came down my eyes, and I thought, wow, that is just amazing. So,
okay. So we look forward to discussing with you soon. So, guys, thank you a lot. We will catch up with you backstage in about 5 minutes once we close the show. So we'll sort that out with you. But thanks a lot. Cool. Play, Milk Tray, ShaSha, welcome on board.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for being part. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Now, I don't know how I feel. I feel like a proud uncle. Just say proud uncle. Proud big brother. I feel like a proud big brother, to tell the honest truth.
Yes, I wouldn't say that way. I think they've done extremely well, and I think that the fact that they were able to forge their own pathway and knock down doors that some of us didn't get to knock down, and that's the honest truth. So I got to big them up. And I
think the podcast that their series of podcasts is going to be like
it's going to be wicked. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And I know a lot of elders are going to be getting some serious shots throughout, but it's going to be great to hear their stories. Already we've seen a kind of like correlation music wise with some of the stuff we were discussing, so it would be great to hear their equivalents of like the body fusions and their equivalents of slow jams and things like that as well.
I like the straight talking. ShaSha, I call them butters.
Who said that?
ShaSha said, some of the men in my butters.
Yeah. I mean that goes without saying. I mean, to be honest with you, I just love the fact that we're talking history, we're talking timelines, we're talking achievement. We're talking monumental impact on a culture. So even when we're talking about Ill Kids and we're talking about Sticky Forbes, for him to go on and to make arguably one of the biggest garage tunes and most iconic tunes ever, and he's from that scene. You know, he's from our scene. Like he's one of ours. You know, that in itself is an achievement that should be talked about. You know what I mean? If you talk about some of the other DJs that they was there discussing and what they added to the culture, what they brought to the culture,
massive.
All those things. If they don't go on to discuss it, we'll be lost. You know, and it's something that I think that, you know, some of our people that are currently in on the discussion and contributing with their messages will remember, because they were part of it as well. They were part of that moment. They were part of that history. So I really do look forward to discussing and hearing, should I say, because we're not going to be there. I think we're going to get invited on sometime down the series when they're ready for us.
Don't be sick that day, Ray. Can't call in sick that day, mate.
I'm not. Me, not me, mate.
EastEnder.
Mate.
I'm waiting for that one.
Not me, mate. So that's something.
I have to say, like, you know, I remember that discussion with the pajama party thing with the video, and we were on the motorway to Hull, and I think that was kind of like my defining moment of where I understood the impact and power of making sure that we pass on as much to the next generation and knowledge as we can. So, you know, I'm just happy that at least one person's made it, so to speak, off the back of.
I didn't know you like clashing so much.
I love clashing, man. I love clashing. I just don't get to do it as often as I'd like to.
You're a brave man.
Yeah, it's an expensive business. Hey, listen, fortune favors the brave. That's how you make your name, clashing.
Okay. Selector C, the truth is clear. They felt hurt by not being involved back in the day. Clearly, Selector C, they do feel a bit aggrieved, and we'll have that discussion about what we did or did not do or could have done better. But
I have brought this up with you though, Ray, in the podcast, and I've said to you,
we're going to save that. We're going to save that, Reggie.
Save that. Don't go like you're sitting on the fence here. Like, I think that's you. Yeah. I told you, be careful what you lot send checks for. Yeah. You lot want to be that guy. You want to be that guy. Yeah. You look. No, not funny. No, listen. Clearly,
I asked you the question. I said to you, why is it there?
Reggie.
Clearly, what we're doing, what hasn't been done before. That is clear.
Exactly.
And that's one of the reasons why, Anika, he's trying to, but I'm not the one. He's trying to be that guy. I'm not the one. But what I'm saying is that we're doing it now. It's never too late. We're building that bridge, and I think we're building bridges to different music cultures as well. We're not only building bridges to the next gen, we're building bridges to the next two other music cultures as well, that I think collectively we should have been embraced. You know, we should have been, you know, it's almost like that circuit over there is that circuit, and never shall the two really talk business. You know what I mean? You get on with what you're getting on with, you do what you're doing. And we had that discussion about what Spoonie did. Yeah, and I must bring in what Spoonie did, and congratulations to him on his 50th online stream that he had on Sunday. And a couple of people phoned me up, and they were, you know, not happy with maybe that the street sounds didn't get a contribution. But I said, and I saw on there, I saw Mikey B, and I saw him being Mikey B from Funky Express. And he was playing rare groove tunes. And if that is not a celebration and a tip your hat to the street sounds culture, then I don't know what is, because Reggie B, not Reggie B. Mikey B. Funky Express.
Nearly got promoted there, Reggie.
Nearly got. Mikey B is a blueprint. For the street sounds culture.
Yeah.
You understand? So let's not get it twisted. Funky Express set some patterns, set some trends back in the day musically. You know, they're one of the legends of the game, and they were celebrated on there, and the culture was celebrated right through to like the next generation and up to the new generation by people coming on there and stuff. You know, there were some things that was done that they did. I don't know if Spoonie would have done that before. And I saying, you know, like everybody's growing, aren't they? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's the beautiful thing now. You know what I mean? And it looks like, you know, we're all trying to grow in the right direction. That community spirit, you know what I mean? That bonding of more of different scenes to see if we can work together and what checks can we cut together. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. And making history.
Exactly. And big up to Spoonie, man. I have to give him credit. And seeing Ian Wright so passionate about soul and rare groove and pain.
No. Yo, brother. Ian Wright was passionate about Saxon, brother.
Saxon. Yeah, He
do not try that. Yeah?
He did say he was in the reggae and then he decided to become a soul boy.
Yo. Ian Wright cut his teeth on Saxon, brother.
Yeah. All right.
And one of the first times that I actually met Righty was through Cookie. And Cookie, rest in peace, was one of the icons for not only our circuit, but also for the Saxon circuit, because Cookie and Ian Wright used to move tight. There was more or less like best of friends and that. And Cookie used to bring him to the dances. This is before Ian Wright became Ian Wright.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was still a baller in our community. But remember, he didn't get picked up till a bit later, and then he didn't make his stuff. But Cookie used to bring him around, and Cookie was one of the first promoters that really put Fifth Avenue on the map. You know what I'm saying to you? So I just like to make that connection there, and that's all Saxon. So let's get it right, brother. Yeah, let's get it right. Big up D-Roll, big up Muscle Head, and big up the whole.
Big up Uncle Dennis.
And even Shawnee B's laughing. Shawnee B, no, big up One Extra on the line. History, you see, this is where we get to talk the things. And set the trend. Anyway, lads.
Yeah, it's been real.
Reggie, last thoughts?
Looking forward to hearing what they have got to bring to the table. And I think they're in safe hands, basically. I think it's going to be great. I think they're going to have a ball of a time. And you, as the listeners and the watchers, are going to love it as well. So make sure you subscribe, Set the Trend podcast on YouTube, and also via the Facebook group as well. And we forgot to let people know their Twitter handles, and if you want to follow us as well, then
so plays on Insta. Mr. Play is on Instagram, not so much on Facebook, but he's really prolific on Instagram, and he's under Mr. Play, isn't it? It is under Mr. Play there, yeah. ShaSha is at ShaSha, and she's on Facebook and Instagram. I know that
DJ Trey, isn't it?
Milk Tray he's prolific on Instagram, and he's on Facebook as his government name, I think. And that's the thing, and I can't bloody remember what that is, but you could definitely find him on
Instagram. I do know it, but I don't want to say it because I'm not sure if he wants people to know that.
Of course he does, because he promotes his dances on there. Huh? Martin what? I can't remember the full name. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, at Mr. Play, Milk Tray, ShaSha, if he puts it in at DJ Milk Tray on Instagram, and he's Martin something on Facebook, but you can link him up on him. So Trey Sweet Boys, that's it. Trey Tray Sweet Boys with a Z, BOYZ on Facebook, and ShaSha PR on Instagram. Right, it's EastEnder.
East.
Well, he's talking to himself because it's the.
Yeah, I know he's talking to.
Am I talking to myself again?
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Switch.
Yeah. Many thanks, to the guys, and to our team for. I think we put an all-star panel for our next podcast. I think we did really well picking those three, and just in today's show, I think they gelled very well. So I think they're going to take that show and off they go with it.
It's going to be big. We got yeah.
Right, listen.
Let's get out of here.
To do. I've got things to do, and I'm sure that you have as well. So we will be popping up somewhere near you. I don't know if this is our usual spot. I don't think it is. I think we're just doing whatever that we're doing, aren't we? So I don't think this is our usual spot, but you can follow us, as Reggie said, on Facebook, Set the Trend Podcast, on YouTube at Set the Trend Podcast, and we'll be giving out more information about the next gen when they will be about and what they will be doing for very soon. So look out for them. Look out for It's My House as well. It's My House is up there. That's the house one, MC CKP and MC Creed. And also we have Inside Out, if I took my name. That's
Inside Soca.
Inside Soca, and that's Reds who will be talking that. And Reds will be he's been in our series, and he'll be in the Next Gen series as well, and he'll be doing his own series on Soca. So yes, so great, gents. We look forward to and sorry, don't forget you, the public who have been interacting with us or supporting us. Thank you. We must applaud you. We do love your interaction, and we do love your the way that you keep us entertained on our P's and Q's in the chat. So thanks a lot. Okay, so we're gone. Thank you to the producers. Can you play us out? Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Set the Trend podcast. Peace.